weekend. I guess it just depends on what the judges there want for that show because each judge wants something different. Like clearly you want the X frame, you want the tiny waist, but as far as the proportion with the body, it's constantly changing on what they want.
Yeah, I think one person that stands out as the gold standard for the division for a long time before she retired is Sid Gillen, and I've been in contact with her a couple of times. She just posted on her IG that they're going to bring back the Triple O Dynasty for 2026. That's big news because it's a great show, great opportunity. A lady I know competed there. Also, one lady who I'm a fan of, and I'm a big fan of hers. She really changed the division I love women's bodybuilding, and that is the lovely Miss Andrea Shaw. I'm just a fan of hers. I just can't help it. I think she's so beautiful. She's so amazing. I mean, I just think she's just what I've interviewed people who told me that she has a great personality, she's a great person, and what her, Sydney, and Whitney Jones was doing with Triple O, giving women's bodybuilding and also figure, and even you know, physique a chance. It was physique, but they dropped it this year because they have of sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have somebody here in the corner here. Shout out to one of my guests. That's my man KL the Wanderer. He says, "Good morning, morning there, brother. Appreciate you coming through." Yeah, because you know what? If you hadn't heard, because you are in the Pittsburgh area, that they're going to have the Pittsburgh Pro coming up. That I saw Lola Montez might be competing there.
Oh, I did not
Yeah,
know.
yeah, they dropped some names. I think it was Lola. I think Lena Rumsteiner and a couple of others, some Olympia level competitors. I mean, and I think this year it's going to be a big payday. I think its first price is $20,000, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, I did see that. I was looking into it a little bit, but I didn't see all the names that's supposed to be competing.
Well, a certain channel I follow, female bodybuilding channel, they announced it on their IG, and also the other names that are competing. But I mean, Lola possibly with Sydney gone, it's between her and possibly Jessica Reyes Padilla. But there's also another person in the corner, two people in that corner. I might say Cherish and also, Missy Trescott. What's your thoughts of who you think might deserve this opportunity to be the new Miss Olympia figure?
Did you say Cherish was in there?
Yeah, you might say put Cherish in there because I think she's in top five the last.
100% Cherish. I mean, I love her. I love her look. I think it's going to be her. I mean, I will vote for her and root for her the whole way. Cherish 100%.
Yeah, I think I agree. Because I remember what happened when Sarah Gilgis became the champ. She beat out Shanique Grant, and she was coming from like I think she was like year before was fifth place, and then she comes in and she beats a two-time champion. We have the lady who have been a guest on my channel. Shouts to her. We have here the lovely Miss Mindy Bindi. Bean. He says morning. Thank you, Mindy, and also Mina. Sorry, and also we have. He says the Triple O Dynasty was fire. Yes, I enjoy it. So, folks, one thing we're going to do is while we have Jessica here, we're going to jump into social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, check out the link in the description. Reach out for genuine interest because support, recognition, these ladies need it because it is a tough sport. But guys, this is a nice lady. She took time to talk with me. Be respectful. She has a husband. He's ex-veteran. I don't want to hear somebody get the head handed to him because these ladies deserve respect. It's a tough sport, and recognition is hard to get. So we're gonna jump into her social media for a bit. If you want to follow the link is in the live stream. And then also, again, if anybody interested in supporting her, let her know. Okay. And here he is. And this was when you competed at the Pittsburgh. And this was the overall you won?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that feeling like? You like, especially this was in your own backyard. You didn't have to go clear across the other side of the country.
That was the one where I thought that the competitor Brianna Smith, she has an amazing physique. It was basically up to me and her. There was a few other girls for the overall, but Brie was my competition. So when I won and I won the overall against her, it felt really good. But then I also felt a little bit bad for her because I knew how bad she wanted it. But now she's a pro. She got her pro card, so I'm sure we'll be on stage again.
Yeah. And this is your husband and your baby. And how old is he now?
He just turned 4 in December.
Oh, that's cute. And your husband right here, he's the veteran. Thank you for your service. How long y'all two been together?
5 years.
5 years. Yeah, that's cute. Was this the man that you truly say, this is the man, I'm going to marry him. I love him.
Yes.
What does he do for a living?
He actually is a retired veteran, and he was a sergeant at a prison.
Oh, so he was a CO. Okay. I know quite a few ladies I know a lady who also did that. She was in the Navy, you know. And after the last show, what was critique from the judges? Because you did New York. And what was the critique they gave you?
It's what they call my posterior chain, so my mid back and my hamstrings. That basically I just need to put more size on for my overall posterior chain, which I have been working on a lot this off season.
hmm Now, this is from your first show. This is from, I think, this is from Pittsburgh in 2023, and this is Pittsburgh 2024.
Yes.
You really have evolved over time. That's the thing about being a bodybuilder. It's about the evolution of the athlete as you grow and you develop.
Yes, I definitely have. I mean, I take really to heart what the judges' feedback are every year, and I just focus on that. And then, of course, my overall appearance as well. And I try to be better each time I step on stage.
Yeah. And here she is right here. And this is your coach right there. That's your coach.
Yes, that's Jared.
Yeah. And he has other athletes besides yourself.
Yes, he does. He has a lot of wellness and bikini girls. He did have a few figure girls, but I'm the only pro with him right now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And here she is with Justine Albert and another gentleman here. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And, this is like I said, it's good to have support. These are some family and friends members.
Yes, that's my mother-in-law and then my husband's aunt.
Oh, that's good. It's cool. I think it's good that what's that like, especially your family, what they think about their little girl being this big muscular bodybuilder.
Well, I actually don't. So my parents are no longer here.
Oh,
So my brother that I speak with, that I'm really close with, I mean, he is proud. He thinks it's a little bit, he's like, it feels weird seeing my sister with these big muscles, but he knows it makes me happy. So
yeah. And here she is. This was at the Junior USA's, getting her, sort of posing and also possibly getting her pro card. I know, that's a great feeling when the
it
work you
is.
put in here and then you get rewarded for it.
Absolutely. I was in shock when they called my name. So yes, that is when I won my pro card.
And here's his husband. Y'all Pittsburgh fans, huh?
Yes.
How you feel about the draft?
My husband wasn't too happy about it, so he hasn't really talked too much about it since he was watching it. So
Yeah, I know it's tough. I mean, I'm in North Carolina. We have the Panthers, and I oh, I can tell you, I'm not a big football fan. I used to watch my older brother. He was the one who really got me into this into bodybuilding. He used to be a football player here in my hometown. I used to always look at the magazines because they were great for him before he lifted weights. He was a big Pittsburgh fan. I think my sister, she's a Redskins fan, and I think my younger brother, he's a Panthers fan. Everybody has their like about it. Football has changed over the years. I mean, some great players, people that legends. I think it's just a sport that if I think if bodybuilding had that same attention and recognition, I think it could help in the long run. Would you think?
yeah, I agree with that.
hmm So after New York, this is something I ask you, ladies. And this is something I particularly ask you because sometimes I'm a fat dude, and sometimes we like to talk about food, and sometimes food can be a strength or a weakness. So tell me, share with me, Jessica, what was that thing that you desired the most? The thing that you wanted, especially after a long prep and you're dieting.
My thing, honestly, is just a good stack of pancakes. That's it. I don't like to indulge because if I do, I did that 1 year with a reverse diet. I didn't properly reverse, and I did. I ate everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything. And I put on 17 pounds in a matter of 3 days from water weight. And so I like to keep it simple, just a small stack of pancakes and go into a reverse diet after that.
That's it. Pancakes. Everybody likes pancakes. I mean, just nice, fluffy. I mean, my mom used to make pancakes pretty good. Boy, I miss you, mom. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, food can be a tool or weapon, especially when you're building muscle. But it's all about the right foods and what you eat. Like, what's your diet like day to day when you are, doing when you're prepping?
Right now, it's a lot of chicken and rice, egg whites, whole eggs. Do have some green vegetables, rice cakes. I do get a banana right now after every workout, so that's kind of like a treat for me to have like the sweetness of a fruit. So yeah, it's pretty bland, but there's different spices and sauces that I put on it to make it not as bland. And then fish, I'm starting to enter fish next week into my diet.
Yeah, I'm not much of fish. I don't think I had any fish in a long time. Don't have taste for it. I understand that when I like one point I was at 500 pounds, and I knew one thing had changed my eating habits. Like I try to eat less of processed foods or takeout. I don't really go out that much. I try to cook more healthy foods, but every now and then I like to have something with a little salt, a little sugar, a little sweet, something a little fatty. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm just trying to live a little longer. But yeah, that's the important part about food. It is again a tool and a weapon as developed as a bodybuilder. Here we have a comment from my man KL. Shout out to him. Um, he says, I like your physique, Jessica. How long do you work out in the gym?
I am one that I don't like to be at the gym forever. So if it's not a cardio day, which I do cardio most of the time at home, I have a treadmill and stuff set up upstairs. So I am hour tops, and I'm done. I'm really focused. A lot of people when they see me in the gym, they think I'm unapproachable because I have my headphones on, I'm zoned in and do my workout and I leave. So with about an hour tops, an hour's pushing it.
Yeah, well, I understand because I think people be intimidated, especially like you're not that big, big, big. You're not like something like big, like a big Romney or like that. But I think people just get
Yeah.
intimidated by women with muscle. Like it's a flip thing about this because society doesn't, especially they view women if you have muscle something different, something weird about you. There's comments like I know ladies tell me comments that people make looking up and down saying, I don't want to be like you. Especially if you're training somebody, say, no, you're not gonna be like me because if you don't follow the plan, the diet, be consistent, it takes time. Like again, people are always gonna use the excuse that most bodybuilders are on steroids, but it's only a small factor of you growing and developing as an athlete.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. Here we got another comment from KL. He got nothing to do. He says, good thing you're married. I would have seduced you with pancakes. He's stupid. He's stupid. He's stupid. He's stupid. But yeah, but when you're training, what's that one workout they say, you know what, I love this. It makes me feel good. And the other one says, damn, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Shoulders. I love doing shoulders, any type of shoulder press. Dumbbell shoulder press. It's my favorite. I hate doing legs. Leg day is the one that I mean, I do it, I stick through it and power through, but I'm not excited when it's leg day. When it's shoulder day, I get excited.
Yeah, I think most, especially in the figure division, y'all ladies really have to work on your shoulders because you want that nice round capness. You want, some ladies tell me because when I'm learning about figure, you want that nice upside down V taper like a Dorito look. You
Yeah.
want that small in the waist. Leg day, I had maybe a few women who say they love leg day. I call them mutants. They're sick freaks. They're masochists. They love leg day. But I think everybody has to work on the things that are strengths as much as their weakness. This is how I see leg day. If you ever remember a show called Chappelle's Show,
Hmm.
when the episode when Charlie Murphy meets Rick James, and they all go back to Eddie's house, and then Dave Chappelle is Rick James says, let me put your feet in your couch. He says, F your couch, Eddie Murphy, F your couch, and then
Yes.
here comes Charlie and Eddie beating Rick's legs. That's a day for the bodybuilder. You're like, you never give y'all no money and just drag yourself out.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. This is from Mina. Shout out to Mina coming through. She says, pre-leg day anxiety is real. She is OCB pro, and she knows because she also does figure, but OCB. But yeah, she don't. She's told me that. Also, she says this. She says, "Still my favorite day though." Then Nina, you're a sick freak. So, so as a woman in the sport and as a bodybuilder, what did you feel like could really help for opportunities and recognition in your sport?
Honestly, I feel like if people wouldn't be, if they just be more open to it. A lot of people are judgmental. A lot of people, if they see a female bodybuilder, they just don't want to interact. They think it's weird. They think it's manly. If people just had more of an open mind for it, that way we can have more of, we can put ourselves out there more to not have to feel judged or not have to feel worried about what anybody's going to think about it. Definitely just showing up more to the shows. There's some shows that I know, between each category, and figure is one of them. The audience goes down when figure girls go on stage, but when it's a bikini girl on stage, there's so many people in the audience. When physique goes on stage, the audience goes down again. So I think if people could just stop being so judgmental and more open, to accept the fact that females, this doesn't make us manly. We, it's still, we look gorgeous on stage. We go with the hair, makeup, the gorgeous suits. We put a lot of time and effort into this. And I think if people could just be more accepting of the fact that it's not just a man's sport, like us females can do it too. And I think we're really good at it. Just be more open minded and more accepting. And I think that that will help be able to build the career for all of us more.
Like I said, I've been following Body Me for a long time. Been a fan of it. I've been a fan of the ladies for a lot longer than much because I really respect their passion, commitment to the sport. And often my crime is I'm in my muscle very small. Y'all ladies excite me. But doing this content, I get to learn something. I was more a big fan of women's bodybuilding. I wasn't too much big fan of physique. I call it watered down women's bodybuilder. But the ladies I've interviewed and talked to in that division, they're amazing ladies. Figure, I'm starting to grow into a good bit. And I'm interviewing some figure competitors, even some fitness competitors, even bikini competitors. Even though I find that division, right, it's boring. I've even interviewed a lady who does wellness. I got a friend of mine. Her name is Jada. She earned a pro card as a physique competitor, did bodybuilding, went back to physique, and now she's doing wellness. And that's a division that kind of interests me because it has those borderlines. You have the upper body of a bikini competitor, the lower half of a bodybuilder.
Yes.
And again, there's this new division. Excuse me. I'm just not a fan of particularly. I understand again that it's about maybe trying to get attention and recognition for bodybuilding, but you're bringing in something that it's going to end up evolving just like the other divisions. If you look how figure has evolved, how physique has evolved, how bikini has evolved, because bodybuilding is a very extreme and influential sport.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, we have a comment from Mina. Shout out to Mina for sticking in here. He says, "Exactly, figure is beauty with the high heels, with the heels and the muscles." Yeah, because y'all is amazing. I mean, even though some shows have dropped, figure like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, it dropped both women's bodybuilding, physique, and figure. Then I was talking to a lady who's a figure competitor. She done a show in the past, which was a Region Sports Festival. This year has dropped both physique and figure because it's going to come in this May. Because it used to be after the Olympia. Because a friend of mine competed there. He got his his Masters Olympic qualification at that show.
Yeah, no, it definitely, I mean, I will stay with figure as long as figure's around. It does suck that certain shows are dropping it more. And there are a lot of bikini and now wellness competitors. I feel like figure in a lot of shows is starting to dwindle down. I hope not, because I hope it stays around. I hope it brings good competition because clearly I don't want to go to a show and there be two girls and me win because is that really a win? Who's showing up? I would rather there be a lot of girls and go up against the competition. So I know what I need to work on and what I look for. So hopefully figure does not continue to dwindle down. I hope more girls fall in love with the sport and want to join.
Yeah, I know. I remember when Pittsburgh, A lady I interviewed, Natalie Ray Wolf. She was only one of three women at that show that year, and she did just St. Louis. There was only five for that show, and they dropped St. Louis. Now they added wellness to that show because they had it, I think, this past weekend. And I think the thing is just that I think some competitors either have a choice. Either when you get to the level where your body starts changing, you can either advance. I'm seeing physique competitors that could be women's bodybuilders. I'm seeing figure competitors that could be physique. And I've even seen bikini girls who could be figure. It's just, but often they say like it's about what they want, a way they want to place at.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's like when I first started, I wanted to do wellness, and then when I started training and my upper body took off, I'm like, no, I need to go to something different. Wellness isn't for me. I just have my genetics allow me to be able to grow where I need to. So no, I agree with that for sure. But I guess it just depends on, how hard you're working too. And some people, genetics is a factor. There's somebody that could work out for 5 years and train and not really change. And you'll have to really look at that's kind of probably more than likely your genetics. I mean, no supplement, no working out, no diet can put that muscle on if you don't have the underlying good genetics.
hmm Yeah, genetics is a factor. Also, hard training, hard work is also important because it's not as easy for everybody else. Like if I look at someone like Andrea, she looks amazing. I saw a post with Lola Montez. She's just crazy. I mean, I think every athlete evolves by certain factors, be it genetics or being just how hard they work or where you put it. Shout out again to Nina. She's really into this. Sasha says, influencers also bring in a large audience. There are so many classic and bikini influencers online. Like I think I think one guy talking about was Sam Solik when he won at the Arnold Classic. He's very popular. Chris Sebum, he's very popular. Now he's retired, but I think he's supposed to switch to men's open. But like I think, yeah, if you get people who really like, well, I talk to some ladies. I think one thing for the ladies need to do is to step up and really promote yourself. Because I know social media can be tough. It's a double-edged sword. Because you
Yeah.
have people on here making comments like, yeah, she's trying to be manly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He got too much muscle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you have the other flip side, this guy's like, she got a lot of muscles. I like that. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like, it's very hard to navigate.
Yeah, no, I agree. I haven't really encountered the bad part of the social media, but my husband handles the Instagram. So I'm sure he filters things out. So I kind of, if comments like that do come in, I don't let it bother me because I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for the notoriety from how somebody else feels about it. I mean, nobody made me get into bodybuilding. So if they don't like the way I look, just don't look, don't follow me. So it really doesn't bother me if any of the hate comes my way as far as that.
Yeah, best way to say it, like the quote, the great Silky Johnson's, well, let them hate till they can't hate no more. That's all
Yes.
they can do. Because you know what? That's the thing is, if you hate something so bad, that's because you don't know nothing about it. You'll take the
Mhm.
time to educate yourself a lot about it, about what it is. Because you know what? You never know. Somebody might be watching this. Then you know what? I agree with her, and you might even inspire somebody. Because like I said again, for y'all women, I say this. I keep saying this for the women, it's a lot more difficult, especially when you look at it because the men's division is going to get the attention. Everybody's going to pay attention to the banana hammocks and the board shorts. Y'all ladies over here, unless you are, bikini or wellness, which is I call TNA, but for y'all women who are like figure, physique, women's bodybuilding, it's a lot harder for y'all to get that attention recognition because everybody looks at the big, large muscle. But also the expense is competitive because you are a mom, you got a little boy, good thing you have a husband there, but still there's a lot of things because one thing you did your first show was in Pittsburgh, and that's not too far from where you stay at, so that's a good thing. The next show in New York, and then the cost of especially presentation. For y'all
Mhm.
ladies, you have to look very with the muscle, but also feminine. The suits right there cost you your hair, your makeup. You gotta make sure you pay your coach, keep up with your diet, the traveling. Now, as IFBB Pro, you have to pay a fee every year, for your pro card. And I wish that there was more. I think, especially if you're pro, I think more breaks or more opportunities, or also sponsorship. Are you sponsored?
I am not, no. And I know a lot of people, though, it's kind of hard to get But then again, it all comes down to who you know type people too. Like I know very few that are sponsored. It's kind of hard to get sponsored. So I currently am not, no.
Yeah, I understand. Sometimes I think also if you're very social media active or if you're out there, posting stuff and people recognize you, that does help. But I think people should sponsor because generally people who have because you're a nice lady, you took time out here to talk to me. You're a mother, you have a child, you got a 4-year-old. Oh God, lucky he's not in Temple Tuesday anymore. I grew up in a big family. I have like three sisters, three brothers, and nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews. And I know his little boy loves his mama because there's a quote, there's an old saying from an old movie called "A boy best friend is his mother."
Yeah, we're really close. So yeah, I see that for sure.
Yeah, we have your comment from a man. KL says hate comes with the process